heat, boy.
Yeah, we breaking silence on the Lord, oh. So why you think we out here on the Lord for? Yeah, I'm coming through, Ja, ja, ja. Coming through, I'm coming through. Yeah, I wear the truth like a logo. So why you think I'm out here on my dolo? Yeah, I'm coming through, Ja, ja, ja. Coming through, I'm coming through.
Yo, once again, it's the We Break Silent Show. E.CHARLEZ, PAMELA, ROSARIO, Walken, VANIA.
Yeah.
And we have a special guest in the building.
Yes.
Super producer, DJ Shok.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, bro?
What it do?
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, brother.
Yes.
We appreciate
It
you.
was a good drive, man.
You could be
Yeah,
anywhere in the
traffic.
world, but you're here.
Where
with
you
us.
coming up from?
Yonkers?
Yonkers.
Yonkers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't somebody Yonkers win? Did somebody win the lotto in Yonkers?
Actually, I think.
Was it in
Yeah,
Yonkers?
there was a ticket.
There was a ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
It wasn't for nothing crazy,
It
though. It was for
It was
like...
a mill, I think.
It was a million.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
they won $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which one of my
yo.
Yonkers neighbors won that $1 million?
Yeah.
Right? I need that.
Shout outs to YO.
Yeah, I think somebody won $1
I
million.
need
Because
that.
I didn't
it
know.
was like
I
5
know it
people
wasn't
that
me.
got like a couple. If
Positive about that.
it was
Yeah.
him, he wouldn't be
You
here.
wouldn't be
He'd be
here.
like,
You'd be like, forget these guys. I'll start my own show.
Right?
Real quick, I know I apologize. I used the old picture of you to promote.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's one of my
But-
favorites, though.
Yeah, that
That's
picture
me
was
in the
dope.
basement, man. Yeah.
But what were you doing exactly in that picture, bro?
In
Were you
that
making
picture,
beats or?
Yeah, I was making beats. That was like
Nice.
my parents' basement.
Wow.
I mean, I used to live down there.
Wow.
That was where I honed my skills. You know, on a Kai S950.
That was some old school equipment, bro.
Roland
Old school.
MC50. That was the first Yamaha Pro Mix 1.
Nice.
When they
Wow.
first went digital.
Yeah.
And I blew out my speaker, so I took my car speaker. Remember?
Oh yeah.
At that moment,
That's that
what you
Kenwood?
see in the back is the
That
Kenwood
Kenwood.
I see
car
it.
speaker.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just.
What was that, a 12 or a 10?
Yeah.
Those
212.
Kenwood-
Like a
212.
212.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
joints.
It was
Nice.
That's
nice.
crazy.
oh,
Oh,
snap.
I had
wild.
I had an Acura Integra, 94 Integra. Like
All right, there you go.
Like after high school, and I had 212s on there.
Oh man, yeah.
I
That's
shook the
fire.
whole
You sound
damn
like you know the gadgets, though. You know all the
Yeah.
equipment and everything
Oh,
like that.
yeah, I'm a super
Big on
nerd.
it.
That's
Always.
what's up, bro.
And I gotta lie,
Always,
I went up to your Instagram and stuff like that. I see you using Ableton now.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah.
is like not
All the time.
common. Like I mean, a lot of people use it, but like it's mostly like I see like a lot of like the electronic music, like the house music DJs and stuff
Yeah.
like that using Ableton. I don't see like a lot of
I
hip
think
hop
a little
producers
bit
use it.
more might be start. I mean, Ableton is a beast, man.
Yeah,
I just
man.
love it. I mean, it's.
I used it myself. I
Yeah.
was surprised what you were able to pull out of it. I might have to like get some tips from
Oh
you.
yeah, let me
That's
know.
for real.
But
Like,
I mean,
I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually used to use Logic before that, and then I kept trying to use Ableton because it had so many tricks in it.
A lot of tricks.
So what I ended up doing was I uninstalled Logic, so I wouldn't use it.
Forced yourself.
And I just from that day on, I just used Ableton. I was
Forced
like maybe
yourself to do it.
5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
something like that.
That's what's up, yo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like listening to a couple of the beats. I'm like, and then I saw the background. I'm like, that looks familiar. Like I recognize that screen. I was like, I use Ableton. I never knew you could do this stuff with that. That's what's
Cool,
up,
man.
yo.
That's cool.
Thank
so
you.
you talked about, getting into music in your parents' basement. So what kind of triggered you just starting in the first place, DJing and all that?
I don't know why, but ever since I was a little kid,
Yeah.
like I would take out the pots and pans. My mother always told me I would bang on them, and then
Shok, shut up.
actually there's a real funny story, but I have to say it.
Yeah,
a
go
bad
ahead.
word in
No.
Spanish.
Oh, sorry. It's all
So-
good. Go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah, it's fine.
My pops, like I was banging on this drum. It was a Muppets drum.
Yeah.
Remember the Muppets drummer?
Yeah.
So I kept banging on it, and I had this beat going, and he was telling me to shut up. He was like, "Cállate," and I was like, and then he kept on. I wouldn't stop, and he was like, "Cállate, hijo de puta." So I actually made a groove. I was like, "Hijo de puta," boom. Hijo de puta. So my mom never forgot that. She was like, and now I'm probably like 4.
Right.
Like at that time, and it's just, and then like for DJing, the first time I decided I wanted to be a DJ, which I hardly DJ anymore. I just stuck with DJ because that was like what originally pushed me into music.
Right.
Was Aldo Marin, which he owned Cutting Records, which was like a giant record label for freestyle house and some of the first electronic hip hop, like you know that song, "It's Time."
Oh, well, yeah,
that's their first record, and he
original,
DJ'd at my sister's Sweet 16, and I was probably like 7 or something, or less than that probably. And he was killing it, and he kept playing the Wicked Witch, messing with me, like, you know, going so soon, my little party's just beginning. And he kept pointing at me, and I was like, yo, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it
That's
just
what's up.
captivated me, and I was already running around like breaking my dad's tape recorders, the portables. I would just record stuff. And anything he bought from Radio Shack, I took from his closet and broke.
Just messing with it.
Yeah, anything. If it was a radio, anything.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, and
That's
luckily he
what's up,
kept
though.
buying me. He must have saw something in it, because luckily he actually kept. You know, I would
He
break
kept
one,
buying
and my
it.
mom would be like, he just keeps breaking them, and my dad would just give it to me.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
I don't know
That's
if you
what's
remember
up,
that song by LL Cool J, Phenomenon. Something about the Phenomenon.
Yeah, of course.
So I remember I wanted to DJ so bad, so I took an old cassette. So every time he said Phenomenon, I'll rewind it real quick. Go something like
all
Phenomenon.
day.
And I was like, yeah, I'm DJing.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of stuff I would do.
Yeah.
I would take the receiver, and I would, if I had the record that was on the radio, because I used to listen to Red Alert, and he was always going back to back. I used to stay up even when I was little and record.
Yeah.
And
You know what's crazy? I did the same thing with Flex when I was in high school.
There you go.
I used to stay up mad late at night. Everybody would bring CD players to high
This is
school.
the stories, yo.
And I bring
I love these
Walkman.
stories.
Everybody made fun of my Walkman, but that was the only way I could record and listen to Flex at night.
Crazy,
so
yo.
I wanted to mix so bad that on the receiver, I noticed that when you leave it in the middle, in between tuner and phono, you can hear both.
Yes.
So I was open when I figured that out. I'd leave it in the middle,
Yes.
and I would wait for a record to come on that I had, so I could like double
Mix
it up,
with it,
flange it, and just
Insane.
yeah.
That's it.
It's unexplainable. Like
It
you know,
is,
my
it
kids,
is.
honestly, like because I'm like that. Like I was able, you know, to see the gifts in my kids early,
Right.
and like you know, like my oldest is 16, and he was just academic. Like when he was 3, I set up a chessboard. And I'm not joking with you. Like he actually remember. Like I said, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, and he just looked at me, okay, and he put them all.
Wow.
And I even forget sometimes. So at that moment, I was like, okay, he's got something.
Yeah.
And you know, sure enough, I mean, he's 16. He's in Phillips Exeter Academy. He's like the top 5%. You know, thank God. You know,
Nice.
but
That's what's up.
and then my other one, he's a dancer. Like, and
Yes,
I
I've seen
realized it when. We were taking the train and we were in between the shuttle, and he was like 4 years old maybe, or 3, I don't remember exactly. And like they just started breaking, like the B-boys came out and they just started breaking, and he just stopped and he was like,
Stuck on
I
it.
looked
yeah.
at his face, and there's this
You
just
can see.
sing.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You could tell like
And-
when somebody's just
and I
amazed
was
by
like,
something.
yo, and I was like, all right, let me see if this is for real or if I'm bugging, you know?
Yeah.
So I went home and of course I put on Beat Street.
Oh,
And then when I put on Beat Street, and he's like, "Oh my
Locked
God!"
in.
And then I took him to the Rocksteady reunion, like you know, when he was like maybe a few years older. And then he was like, "Oh my God, that's Crazy Legs!" And you know, he just was in love with it. So now he's actually right now at a practice for a Foot Locker commercial.
Oh,
Word.
nice. That's
Real big thing.
amazing.
See, you recognize the gifts. Recognize the gifts.
And I think that's important, you know,
It's so important.
and being able to, you know, when not make them do what you want them to do.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and that's key, you know, to
That-
me.
Definitely,
you know.
man. Definitely.
Yes.
That's dope, yo.
Totally. So when did things become more professional for you? Like, what was that journey into actually like getting paid and really?
Well, DJing, I used to, when I was really young, actually, to be honest with you, like I was 14, 15, 16, I used to throw these parties in Yonkers, and I used to rent out centers and borrow equipment and just put things together and charge like $5. And from that, I saved up money. I started to buy equipment, you know, and started making, then as soon as I found out about beats, like I saw my cousin had an Insonic, like the first one, the EPS, and I saw him in his room, and he was like chopping stuff up, and I'm like, oh my God, that's how you make these records that I'm playing?
Yo, it's like the first
And I
time you
was-
see it, you be like, oh my God, that's how you do it?
So from that moment, that's all I wanted to do. So, but I had to save the money. It's,
Yeah.
Equipment is not like now.
It's expensive,
No,
man.
It took like a good $3,500 to get like my first setup that I could really rock.
Every
Yeah.
single thing,
Yeah.
because now
Yeah.
it comes in the computer. You buy the computer, it's
yeah.
like boom, everything's on the
Exactly.
program.
Everything's
All you really
in the
need
box
is
now.
is a
Yeah.
controller, really.
So before it was a struggle just to get started.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then I once I got my equipment, and then nobody wanted to listen to my music, so then I started an independent label with a friend of mine, and it was called Matt's Vinyl, and that's actually like a kind of a little bit of a legendary underground label, and we had an artist High Tech who he did really well and took us to Romania and different stuff.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
we're on the underground, we sold like out of the basement like 10,000.
High
Nice.
tech.
Red Alert played it, Flex played it.
High
Nice.
tech.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Wow.
and we kept out putting underground records, and like when you look, there's like underground blogs and they check for that stuff. Still, you know, they
Wow.
actually reached out for me for some unreleased stuff recently, and you know,
dope.
from there, then Joaquin was a friend. He's one of the owners of Rough Ryders. He was a friend of a mutual friend, and he would come by once in a while and just check out. But I was kind of like doing my independent label thing, and I was more into like really underground hip hop at that
Yeah.
time.
Right.
And so like and they were kind of like more on the street side, so I was like in between, and so we didn't click exactly right away, and then one day I think I went to just play him beats, and I started. Oh yeah, this is what really made me like want to be down with the like Double R. He had been wanting me to like sign, and I didn't want to exactly, and he played me X's first album before
Before it's dark
anybody
and hell
really
is
heard
hot.
it. Only thing out that at that time was Get At Me Dog.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
And he sat me in the car, and when he finished playing it, I was like, I'll sign whatever you want me to sign.
Yeah, wow.
That's the true story. He sat me in his truck, he played it, and he just kept
Wow.
looking at me like, if he don't want to sign after this,
Yeah, right. Then
then
I'll-
he knew it.
He
Like
not
they
the
knew
one,
what they
yeah.
had, and it was just an exceptional, historic record. To me, that's in my opinion, even though I'm not on it, that's the best X album by far, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Oh my God.
You know,
That's-
that first one, and
It's Dark and Hell is Hot is the first.
Yeah.
That's like the first like CD I bought with my money.
yeah.
The first one, like that was. It's not like the
money.
first piece of music that I purchased, but it was the first like CD I got with my money. It was
Yeah.
that I bought that, and then I bought Harlem World.
Yeah, same.
Oh, Harlem World.
And actually, it was the antithesis. Like it kind of just,
Two opposite ends of the spectrum.
and
really.
then X just, and the R came in and just changed the whole scene.
The
really,
whole thing.
really with that,
everybody.
Yeah, it was a big.
Yo, I
change.
saw also on your Instagram that you produced "Cruising" by Jadakiss off
Yeah.
of what is it?
That's on his first solo.
Kiss of Death, right?
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Snoop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man.
I was listening to that on the way over here.
Oh, dope. Thank you,
I
man.
love it, yo. I love that record.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, the thing about like it's interesting because there's a lot of producers even back then and now and always.
Yeah.
Like when we, like I was inspired by a lot of people who would just kind of play in the background. Like even Premier, like now he's up front.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was like a super inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And he was always quiet in the back.
Yeah.
Always.
So that was like my role.
Yeah.
That I was like, all right, I'm gonna be quiet in the back and make
Right.
some heat and
Yeah.
just be like, I
Yeah.
did that.
You,
You know?
you want to be
That was
the
like
guy.
humble.
that was like how I wanted to be. You
Yeah,
know,
be
like
the
that.
guy that asking like,
Yeah.
yo, who made this beat?
I wanted that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
like even one of my favorite moments of that, like of being on the humble and like being sought out, like, yo, you did that, was I was playing beats for Busta and Rod Digger came in,
Oh wow.
and it was when I played the joint for the Imperial,
Oh, okay.
and like that was playing, and she's like, yo, she was talking to me like I was the engineer. And she was like, yo, and Busta's like, yo, that's Shock. And he was like, yo, yeah, because I had already done a couple hits, and he
Okay.
was like, oh, word. And it was cool because like that's just me naturally. So like if it's hurt me a bit in my career because I'm not as out there and
Right,
everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of the
game.
entertainment. Like
Right.
you have to be kind of like
Yeah.
Especially
not how
now.
I am. Like I'm not
Yeah.
really like naturally arrogant. I'm not
Yeah.
natural.
Correct.
It like I would have to like make an effort to be a person I'm not.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I just never was able to cross that line.
How you feel about that now? Like the way the game is and like how it's progressed. Like the producers are on Front Street right now. Like you hear them
It's
all
kinda
the tags.
cool, you
You
know?
hear everything. Like I love it personally. Like I love
Yeah.
how now a song like who's the dude from Memphis right now? They take Keith. You know, like how he has that drop. Take Keith is his name.
Yeah.
Who produced for Drake, the Sicko Mode, and all that stuff.
I know who you're talking about.
Stop.
Yep.
And like he's like the big like producer right now. But they have Mike Will Made It, or you listen for Must Have I mean, like
You know
all that
what?
stuff.
That kind of happened out of necessity, though.
Yeah.
Because that was like there was a
People weren't paying
transition.
nobody.
There was a transition in the game where it went from. I mean, I was getting like $20K just to like lay half up front, just to come in and lay it to 2-inch. You know, it was like you couldn't just run around and give out beats. You know,
Right,
it was like it was a big process.
Right.
So then we got into Pro Tools, and then we got into like sending a CD. Then you send a CD, and then they rip the CD, they put it on Pro Tools, and then they have a song.
Yeah.
And then once they have a song, then they almost don't even know who made the beat.
Yeah.
'Cause it was not even needed to talk to you.
Right.
They needed you for nothing. You gave the CD. So what ended up happening out of necessity is people start putting tags.
Loops to their tags over.
So they
right?
would put it. Loops all the time now.
Yeah.
But even in the beginning, you know, that was like something. And then because you really, what a producer really desires is for the artist to shout them out.
Exactly.
Because that's
all
like
they-
saying, yo, you did your thing.
Right.
Like, that's why my tag is like Jadakiss. You did it again, Shok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like that's what you desire not to ask for it,
You just want it.
and for them to give it to you in a genuine way. Like
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh,
Right.
dope. That was cool. And it was like, that's how you want it. So they kind of did it in a business perspective. Like, all right,
That's a good way to do it too, to assure that exactly.
Yeah.
And if they don't need you, that means that it's very likely that they're not going to pay you for
But
it.
right now, dude, seriously, like the game for producers, it is kind of rough. It
Yeah,
is kind of
right.
rough because
SoundCloud, you got dudes putting up stuff like that.
People-
You could download their stuff right off there, or they're sending these beat packages. Like I saw one dude emails me because I got a podcast outside this too. This one dude, there's a bunch of dudes actually, but they hear I have music playing in the background of the show, so they constantly
to
email
get on
me
right.
to say like, "Yo, I'll give you beats 5 for $20." I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, 5 beats for
See,
$20? Y'all just giving them away?
Yeah, they're just
like he
giving
just
them
went
away.
like, how you making money? Like,
It's crazy because it's like so many things happened to like in a way devalue it, and the technology makes it easier to make a beat.
Right.
So there is some justification for bringing prices down because
Okay.
you're not having to do. I mean,
it's not taking as much time.
time. So there's like all these factors, but like it's just a whole new landscape where you have to be very creative and try to make a lane for yourself. Like me, like with the new site, I actually ended up having to make a specific business model because I didn't like the fact that, like you said, you have these guys 5 for 20, and then you have these next level. Like I studied it. Like it took me a long time to open because I was like studying it, and I was like, all right, so you have these 3 levels, but there's truly no actual exclusives anymore because what they do is you lease, and then you take this next level lease, and then finally someone buys an exclusive of that beat that you already leased to 30 people.
Yeah.
So how's that exclusive?
Exactly. It's just basically
So there's-
the exclusive goes to the first person that it pops. Like when it pops, right? Like that's when the label's like, all right, well, who made this beat for you, so we
Right.
can make sure that it's like just yours.
So
and that guy from Missouri who leased it too doesn't like say
But
that you're
does he?
ripping-
That's the thing. It's like this super.
who even knows?
Yeah.
And
Or-
so I got with my lawyer, and she was like, I kind of explained what I want to do, and I'm trying to do it like in a more partnership way, in a way where like the artists and me are in a venture together, kind of, and they get a real exclusive. They send the music after they're finished. They send it back to me. I mean, this is gonna get a little boring, but
Nah, I hear
I
it.
love
the
This is the
process.
process.
Yeah.
I send them
I
a
love it.
ISRC code, and then from that code they go and then they distribute it wherever they're going to distribute it, and then that allows me to track all the sales of it. And
Right.
it also allows them to have a code, and I'm also for a low price. I partnered with my lawyer, and she's going to offer them for a very good price, like $250 to copyright the
worth it.
The
stuff,
whole thing.
That's more than worth
to
it.
to put you on with a PRO, to put you on Sound
That's
Exchange.
This is the bundle?
Like that's what I'm
This is what
I'm
you
moving
offer?
towards.
Oh,
Yeah,
word.
I'm basically what I'm trying to do is like get it away from like put my personality into the business.
Right.
Like get it away from like, here, get away from me, take this beat.
Right.
Okay.
So like, yo, let's work. Let's talk
make
about
sure that this goes
Let's
actually where it
not
needs to
just
go.
because honestly, $2.99 is really nothing.
No,
that's the
that's
cheapest
nothing.
I ever sold a beat for. Honestly,
Word.
but the idea behind it is the longevity of it. Like, all right.
Right.
We might be able to, and there's free feedback, so they can send it to me, and I can be like, yo, maybe you could do that first verse if they want
Right.
to take that from me. I'm willing to give it because now that I'm a partner with you and I'm gonna make money from this in the long run.
What's good for them is good
It's
for you.
not like I don't care. Like a lease person, I don't care what you do with it. You gave me my $15.
You already
not my problem.
Yeah.
Me,
You already
I'm
won.
invested with partners, and I care that it comes out good.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's doing a little good, maybe I'll even spend some money on promotion because it's part mine too.
Right.
And now it's like a bigger picture, it's partnership. Because the difference between producers now and back in the day, like a producer handled everything.
Yeah.
A producer booked the studio. A producer made sure that the sample was clear. You saw that story out today. There was I can't remember who it was, but complaining about he was promoting a song, and the producer didn't even remember what sample he used, so they couldn't clear it.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. So it's like producers, you had to be a responsible person
Yeah.
back in the day.
It's literally like the rapper would just come meet you at the studio,
Like you couldn't
jump
be
high
like,
from the club.
yo,
and be like,
here's my
let's
beat.
go.
Right.
Like you had to be a responsible.
Yes.
Like when you look at giants, like like Rick Rubin and like Dre, like these,
Right.
these giants. I mean,
Who's
they're
giants?
dealing with like. No, I'm just saying these giants.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So like they're doing they got the engineers, they got musicians, they got, and that's part of what they're bringing.
Right.
And they got the engineer. They're gonna bring that product and make sure every bit of it. And that's what a producer really is. Then you're just a beat maker. So it's like what I'm trying to
makes
do,
sense.
because I come from a whole different generation. But at the same time, I'm not like a hater. Like I really love.
gotta
Honestly,
adapt.
I love, like, I think the producers are phenomenal right now.
Right now, I think production is like
Honestly, they're sick.
it's
They're so dope right now.
It's at a,
They're
it's at a
creative too,
peak.
man.
It's at a peak,
Creative.
and I'll say it for this, like especially lately, like there's this song, like, and it's not even all about the artist, like that song "Leave Me Alone" by that kid Flipped in there, like that beat is unbelievable. Like he's got the samples in
fire.
there,
I love that
the
beat, too.
808s are kicking, like it's really modern. It's got the East Coast, West Coast, down south, every feel to it. Is they're rolling the hi hats, they're rolling the drums, like everything is in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, and it's mixed correctly, like everything's got the right lane of sound. Now, for that, I guess I'm like complexity wise, like back in the day, you guys had to, you said it yourself, you had to go through so much more. But now it's like, I just feel like the production at the end game is just like, it's at the best it's been.
I was gonna ask you like the sound that's out today? Like, you
I
cool with
mean,
it?
I know I'm
'Cause
gonna get so
you have-
much hate from my
We're not talking about
peers,
the
like
rappers,
my
we're talking about
real
the producers.
my
Yeah.
peers,
Right.
like people who came up with me.
Yeah.
But yo, I honestly, I think a lot of it is banging. I'm not just
Yeah.
saying. I
It
really,
knocks,
it's
yo.
banging, and it inspires me because, I mean, I think there's I could, if I'm gonna be critical, I could say this, that because they're used to having unlimited tracks and they can just change the drum for this piece and this and that.
Correct.
That's what's so dope about it.
Yes.
And at the same time, there's an art that they may not know, because honestly, I have beats up right now that's 5 tracks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 tracks. It's
Finished 5 tracks.
Yeah, it's actually, I have one. I'm not kidding with you. It's 2.
Wow.
It's 2. The Bonita joint. If you look it
I
up,
saw that.
it's 2 tracks.
I was
I
wondering.
chopped up the drums from Bonita,
Yeah.
and I just found this loop, and I chopped it up, and I
Kept it in the
did
same lane.
Oh, and then a track for bass. So 3.
So bass.
So it's 3, and I
Wow.
was gonna do more, but then I said, you know what? I was like, yo,
Less is more.
This is what that is. That's the essence of that one. But then I have other ones that's just
Right.
Crazy.
tracks.
I
And
forget
tracks.
which one it is
You know?
that I listened to, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's fire!" It wasn't Bonita. It was another one that you put up a video like right before that. I was listening to that. I don't even know if it had a name to it, but it was dope.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It was dope.
That's always interesting. Like I'm always curious to hear, like your take on, especially because you've been doing it for so long, just how it compares the music now and the music then. So it's cool to hear that you still,
No, I do.
You enjoy it.
I listen to my kids' music a lot. Like I've always been eclectic. Like when I was
Right.
little, I was listening to old music.
Yeah.
When I was little.
Yeah.
Like I was so like people, they think, for me, a lot of hip hop fans think the 90s is like the golden era, which, I'll go along with that.
Absolutely.
But I'm just going to be honest. For me, it's the 80s because even though I was like, I'm born in 74, so I was like, what? I was just a little kid. But the breaking in that era, when they started with the drum machines, like
that's
Sucker
when
MCs,
everything was invented.
Marley Marl start chopping stuff up.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do it live too.
I mean, Rakim, 1985. I mean, to me, nobody beats the Biz. Like these records are like,
there's so many.
That's just me, but I think what happened was the population of hip hop fans in the 90s was so much bigger.
Big Daddy Kane.
And the money got bigger.
And the money got bigger.
Yeah, the exposure.
But for me,
around.
it's I've had debates with people, but for me, it's the 80s.
It's
got to be because that's the feel. Honestly, all the art forms, the graph, the b-boying, the music,
everything,
the MCing was like just breaking out. I mean, to me, the 80s is a magical time. Like
it was the
merging of punk rock and in the New York scene. Like it's amazing. It's just
art that it came
my dad always talks about that too, about how
it's
like
intense.
punk rock and hip hoppers were like one and the same. Like they were like he was like that's where you would catch like white people and black people like really getting down together like in a time where it was like a little messy too. Given like some of the stuff that was happening nationally, but like he would always talk about that, like that would be like what brought people together was like you go to some grungy underground bar, but like there's like a rock band playing, but then after DJ sets up and they got everybody like bopping their heads to like it's just crazy. People are dancing. It was just a crazy time. So I do agree with you.
Yeah, it's the fusion. Like see, that's what hip hop basically is the fusion of a melting pot of everything. Which is why it's like it can just change. It can become anything.
That's why you see it now.
It's why it's still around because you can't honestly, like, I know it's kind of impossible to see what the future holds, but I feel like hip hop is really hard for hip hop to die because the essence of hip hop is taking everything you bring me and making it ill. So like how could you die? Like all right, fine, hip hop slows down for a little and then this other thing happens. Because even right now, that's what hip hop's doing with the production. They're looking at like future bass. If you look at all these intense future bass productions and stuff, they're like putting that into hip hop now. So it's like hip hop is always looking at other music and gonna take something from it. And then what hip hop does is mainly rhythmic. So hip hop's base is rhythm. So that's the thing that what we do is as a hip hop producer or writer, you're looking at all this other music and you hear like a nice melody, you hear something dope, but then you're like, all right, now if I take that and I put that bounce on it,
like you listen to
then it takes it to a whole nother place.
The Drake song, In My Feelings, like
you're
the only one I love. Like that's the melody is a sample of like I don't think the song is that old that they sampled. Drake got another song on there too that on his album. I think it's called "That's How You Feel," where he has like a Nicki Minaj freestyle from like 2008. Like they're sampling songs like things that like you remember like you guys were like sampling like soul records, disco records, stuff like that back in the 80s, 90s. They're sampling other hip hop records now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's crazy to me, like actual vocals. So like you said, it's gonna be hard to kill off hip hop, man, because it is really hard. It is what culture is in that moment,
and it's taking whatever's happening.
Yeah,
whatever. So it's like, how could you die? You can't because you're just gonna take. All right, that's dead. This is cool. All right, let's bring that in.
Right.
It's
that's
crazy,
so cool.
It just like you said, in its essence, it's taking like whatever you give me and making it dope. Kids in the city. What did their parents had? Because I've messed up some Earth, Wind, and Fire records trying to scratch them on my parents' record player because I can't scratch. You know I be trying to do it all the time. Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. What the kids have in the PJs and they didn't have like all the stuff. They had record players and records. They took those and they made it an instrument.
Because they took record player music out of the schools at that time too. They took all the programs out.
Oh yeah,
exactly. There was no music in schools.
Yes, that's true.
So they couldn't afford trumpets and flutes and all that stuff. They took the record player that had all that and made it an instrument.
Yeah.
Yo,
I wanna. Go ahead.
You sure?
I have a question
No,
too.
go ahead,
I'm like
go ahead,
patiently
Pam.
waiting.
Go ahead, ask your question. I'm sorry.
Just be taking the floor. I'm like, I'm
sorry.
just see when
On
I'm gonna
and
get
on.
a chance to say something.
That's not even true. We was having a conversation. Y'all can jump in whenever you want.
Jeez. Woo. Do you need some water?
Shots fired. I got some.
You want to take a sip
All right,
of the
fine. Go
water?
ahead. Ask your
Take a
question, yo.
sip.
Ask your question. Ask your question.
Jeez.
Try to embarrass me in
I'm
front of my
like,
friends.
Okay, that's not now. I guess I'll wait.
Go ahead, Pamela.
My question to you is, I'm sorry. What has been the highlight of your career? I know you said you've been around for a while, but what has been your like wow moments in all the years that you've been?
I've had a few. Like when I was driving down the street and out of nowhere, Red Alert played this independent record that I put in his mailbox. Oh, that was crazy.
Was that
Wow.
the
That
first
was
time
20
hearing yourself on the radio?
Yeah, high
I was
tech.
gonna ask you that question.
High tech 24/7, and I was driving on Central Avenue in Yonkers.
What year was
and
that?
That was probably like 96.
Okay.
And I'm just
Central
He was on Hot
Yeah, I'm in
97
my-
back then, right? He was on Hot
yeah,
97.
that was the
Yes.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I left work. I'm in my
Rush
car.
hour.
Wow.
And I'm just driving, and all of a sudden it's like doom doom doom
Oh my
doom.
You're like,
doom.
hold on, that sounds
I'm
familiar.
like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I put it mad loud, and it was like I was by
First you're like, yo,
myself.
somebody
and it
stole
was-
my beat.
That feeling, bro.
Yeah, because I mean, we put 2 copies, and it basically went to Hot 97. Put 2 copies in every mailbox.
Wow.
They let us just put them
Yeah.
in.
Try that one today.
And Aldo, my mentor, had said that he ended up being like my mentor, the guy that was DJing there.
Yeah.
And he actually put a note in there to Red Alert because he knew Red Alert, and he was like, "Yo, check this out. This is
Nice.
banging."
Word.
And that, I mean, literally, it was probably the next day.
Wow.
Like he heard it, he liked it, and he supported that record. Red Alert played that record for, no kidding, he played it almost on every show for like a year.
Wow.
He supported it
huge.
hugely. And the other thing that was dope about that was I looked up to Red because I was recording him. So it was like gigantic. And then the other gigantic moment for me was when X did Slippin'. You know,
Yes.
because that was first of all, that was a crazy time in my life. I decided
What year Slippin' came out? Like
98,
that was
right?
98, 99 because
Okay.
it came out like at the very end of 98,
Yeah.
like the last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like after Christmas.
Yeah, it was the first album that was ever dropped during that time.
Wow.
Because they wanted to do 2 in 1 year.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
everybody said it wasn't going to work. Nobody
Right.
buys records on Christmas. Then it changed the game and everybody started
Everybody
dropping
started,
records.
that's when they started
You gotta
coming
be
out.
the first
Yeah.
to try it.
Yeah.
So that record basically was huge for me because when I went out to California to record that, I had to quit my job, which I had a good city job. I quit it. I got like a really small advance from Rough Riders. And I
Gotta sacrifice for that dream, bro.
So I went out there and basically I was living off the food budget in the studio. So go to the studio all day, eat, order.
Yeah.
And at a moment, finally, someone was like, actually Swiss pulled me. He was like, yo, I want X to hear some of your joints. I'm gonna go get him. And then, when he played them, and next thing you know, like that same night he recorded it. Like he did it all like one take.
Nice.
Wow. And
And you was with him in the studio?
yeah.
Nice.
And
This
then
for what song? Slippin'?
Slippin', yeah. And then he,
Wow.
someone, I'm sorry, I don't remember the girl who sang on there, but she was at somewhere like in the hallway in the studio. I don't know if they had her there in case they needed vocals. And she came in, she sang. And I mean, instantly everybody's just attracted to that. Because Rough Riders would book out like 4 to 5 rooms in big, that was at Enterprise, I think.
Okay.
And so everybody's coming to the room from people from Def Jam. What's that sample? We got to clear it. And next thing you know, I mean, immediately it was like people wanted that to be the single. His uncle at the time, Uncle Ray came in and he was like, yo, Shock, that one. And then it was, it was like, who did that?
That
and
was
then
the one.
Everyone's like,
and that was
"We
big.
did it."
Yeah.
And that was big because it was like I took this chance.
Yeah.
Paid off.
And it was a beat I never thought he would take because X always liked the jumpy stuff.
Yeah.
So I had this DAT with like 30 beats and one slow one. And the
That was the
only reason I put it on there was because like my close friends and my wife, well, were we married at that time? No, not yet. But like they were like, yo, you gotta put that one. You got, and I'm like, but X doesn't do those.
He doesn't really like that
He
kind of
doesn't
stuff.
do that.
see?
But I'm like, all right, I'll put it just to put it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then meanwhile, I mean, then he just killed it. I mean, he took the emotion of
Everything.
that, and that one I actually did also like, and it meant a lot too because like I was going through a really bad time when I made that beat, and like I was trying to figure out what I'm, what like those 20s when you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your life.
Yes.
And everybody's telling you got to do this, you got to get a job, you gotta and you're like, but I don't want to do that. It's like
music ain't gonna
that
happen.
really lonely period. And that's when that came out, So it was like it meant a lot, that those two I would say are like the pinnacles.
It's crazy because that record matches what you were going through, kind of like everybody. You said it yourself. He likes those jumpy records, the real hard stuff. Like you never really saw him do a record. Like he had some stuff where he was opening up, obviously, but it was never. That was the first record that I heard of him doing like something like that, like being vulnerable, talking about like really his like losses and stuff like that, like how he was slipping.
Yeah, and that changed everything. I mean, that was like #1 on TRL. That was like that was on Z100. That was crazy. That's what got
him at like Woodstock and stuff like that. Like that was like a huge record.
That was a huge record.
That's crazy, yo.
Huge record.
Crazy.
That's incredible.
That is cool.
So I want to bring up a topic that I saw that you posted about. I'm not sure how long ago it was, so I'm sorry if I'm bringing up old stuff. But you had posted a video about royalties.
Oh yeah.
And like the struggle of sometimes getting paid for your work. So
I'll tell you everything.
Tell us,
no
man.
problem.
So we break silence.
Yeah,
break the silence.
we're gonna break the silence.
Let's go.
So basically, that situation, and I'm still dealing with it.
That's crazy.
So basically, look at it like this.
After all these years,
yeah,
bro.
Right.
Yeah. People will say, and this the thing that annoys me about it is people will come and say, "Well, why didn't you do paperwork? Why didn't you do?" I did do paperwork. I did have a lawyer. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest deal, but that's besides the point, Like I knew what I was signing. I was willing to do my 3 or 4 years, not the greatest deal because I really wanted to work with the camp and their artists were
everybody was fired
out of control, and it just got better and better. And so I did make the right move artistically, as an artist and producer. But what ended up happening is if you sign something and they don't send you what they said they would, how's that your fault?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what did I do wrong? I said, okay, this isn't the greatest, but I'll take that. And then you don't send me that. So it's like, it's kind of a weird situation, Because what it is, and it's complex because there's different facets of it. There's producer royalties.
Right.
There's publishing, there's the mechanicals from the sales, and then there's the ASCAP, and there's it's so complicated, and even Double R got robbed, on the nothing to do with me, and some of that is my stuff that got through a whole nother situation. But what I just was trying to do was I was trying to just get it to a point, and I even sat with like WALKEN, and I was like, look, I'm not even gonna try. I didn't want to take a lawyer into it.
Right.
I was like, look, it's been a long time, but here every single year I lose a certain amount of money just off the royalties.
Right.
The producer royalties, and those are the ones that I never really got. So it's a lot of money, on some of those records. So I was like, look, from this point, and this is years ago, I was like, look, just from this point on, just fix it, because the problem is I'll call Universal. And they're like, oh, we can't talk to you. We got to talk to Rough Ryders. Talk to Rough Ryders. So what Rough Ryders does, they just kind of like, all right, we're not going to talk to you.
Ignore you, yeah.
We're going to duck you, literally. Like sometimes I've gone and, oh, he's not here. He's there.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
so,
the business, man.
yeah. So what happens is there's little recourse for artists when that happens because you send, of course, my lawyer sent a paper. They ignore it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is you got to take them to court. All right, you take them to court. You got to depose them. You got to do all this stuff. So first of all, the reality is music attorneys don't sue nobody because you can't sue Universal with Michael Gomez and then on the other side, hi Universal, I'm calling you, at 8 a.m. to sue you, and then at 1 o'clock, I'd like you to sign my artist.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to burn
So
no
I
bridges.
had to. It was really complicated, and I had to figure out. I have a music attorney, and then I have people who just litigate copyright and stuff, nothing to do with music. So they team together so that the music attorney can advise them
on what to do,
and then they can do it, and they don't spoil their relationships.
Right.
Because it's such a touchy relationship business, and the truth is, you could. The game is so touchy, like you could just bump into somebody, Like and that right there, that's it.
Yeah.
You just that whole camp, something happened. I mean, there was times there was little issues with like Rockefeller and Rough Riders at one time, and I'm over there playing beats, and I was hot at that time like crazy, and like Beans was like in some joints, everybody was like, yo, ready to like start writing. And then like my boy up there, I'm not gonna put him on blast, but and well, why not?
Break the silence.
Even it's a long time later. Well, Lenny S, which he's still with Jay. He was like, yo, Shok, I don't think this is gonna, it's like, why? I didn't even know because I'm on the humble, I'm playing beats, I'm not in all this.
You're not really
madness.
in the middle of all that.
I like making music. If you leave me in the studio forever and just feed me,
you'll be all set.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
And and then when my brain's about to blow up, put me on like a beach for a little while, and then when my brain calms down, put me right back in.
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
I'm fine. So that's my whole scenario. It's real simple. So I don't know about all the stuff that's happening, and then so he's like, yeah, and I'm like, damn. So that's why. Then things start flashing like, oh, that's why this didn't happen. Right. That's why that didn't happen.
You see how everything
that's why this didn't
together.
happen. And that's the game. The game is very like relationship driven, and it's not it's status. So it's not just like someone likes you. It's like, where's your level at? Like right now, I'll give you like right now. I'm not really in it. I'm not running around. I have a day job. For a long time, I work at the UN. I'm a technician. So it's like, that's how I feed my family. So I'm not in it.
Yeah.
So my value to the game is like, you know what I mean? No matter what I did, because I'm not out running. So I might even be cool with somebody. Right. But it's not just the relationship, it's the value too of you right now. So it's like this whole thing happening. Yeah. And honestly, my dream right now is to build a business and excuse me, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Take a sip.
Take your sip, man.
It's to like build a business where I'd rather work with unknown people.
Got you.
And you can stay unknown.
The ones who need to break though.
Because I mean, you might blow up, you might not. But to me, like, it's kind of the way the game is now and the way everything is, and I analyze it and I look at numbers and everything, it's kind of better if you do it like this and you track, because you will have a lot of things out, and library is everything. Like I learned a lot along the way.
Like your catalogs.
Yeah. So you got this big catalog, and maybe it's not selling as much, but it's selling a lot of little bits. So in the end, if you do it enough, for like 5 years, let's say, you actually could level out with someone who has big records. Right. And the truth is,
no, this is major keys you talking about.
Major keys.
For real.
People who have like, all right, I'm not gonna blow this person up. But like, I was working with it. I was working with somebody, and he's a big actor right now. And like, he's always like, my team. He's 20. You know what I'm saying? He's like, my team's gonna do this. My team, and in the back of my head, I'm like, your team is gonna jerk you.
Yeah,
rob you, right?
You about to be
your
all
team,
set.
your team that you don't want to do nothing without. My team this, my team that. Hold up, Shok. You gotta meet my team. Your team is just, cause I had a team too.
Right.
My team, like I had Londo McMillan as my attorney, like the biggest of the bigs, and all they did was take my ASCAP.
Wow.
So they were like, yeah, we'll register. Oh, are you registered? No. Oh, let me help you. That's how it was. I showed up at the office one day. You're like, oh, Shok, are you registered? And this really nice lady. It's like, oh, we'll help you with that. Years later, I found out, good size checks.
That's
just running off.
Wow.
Never got to you. Wow.
Yeah, good size. Like, one's like, I'm getting these little checks.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was supposed to get those type of checks.
Yeah.
right.
And then I talked to like another producer who his record wasn't even as big as my record.
But he getting
and he was like, yo, I just got 40. I was like, I thought it was one of those letters they send from ASCAP, to vote or something. And to vote or something. And yo, I opened it, it was a check for like 40.
Oh my God.
He went and bought a car. It's like,
Right away. Bought the car. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
like literally.
Like
literally.
bought it. And had something left over.
So that made me think. I'm like, you got 40 for that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I got like $300 like
Yeah.
on this one,
Wow.
And this thing was hitting.
and this thing was playing everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see.
So then later on I found out that there was some complications, and because the thing is when you there's a group of people in the business that when you start, they pick like they wait for you to be hot, and you'll notice, and then it feels good because you're like, oh, I got the same attorney as like whoever's the hottest.
Right.
I got the same one as oh, I'm on the right
Must
track.
be popping. Yeah.
But what it is they're just in that position, and then these basically dollar signs walk in. They know the business, so
Right.
they register this, they register that. We'll take care of you, blah blah blah, and everything else. Like the only thing that saved me, like where I was able to get money, was I would get my advances, and on X third album, I did one no samples. And that agreement was done really well by the lawyer that represented me. He had the money go straight to me. So like they get their percent,
Yeah.
but whatever's not their percent goes straight to me.
Straight to you.
And he was able to negotiate a full rate, which is super unheard of. Like you know what that is? Like this is crazy. This is game crazy. A lot of people don't know about this.
What is that?
That everyone's on a 3/4 rate. Everyone. Does that make it? And you know why?
Why?
There's no reason.
No,
There's no reason.
So where does that other
You're
quarter go?
The 3/4 rate is just a standard. So that means in this language in these contracts, right? And it's standard. So I remember it was a big battle, like, and I was like, well, I did his biggest record on his last album, and I was like, and I made a big thing. I was like, well, then don't even take this one. I was like, fine, because I only got that for this, and they were like, oh, okay, and they kind of gave it to me, and it's unheard of to get a full rate. There's no reason for it. There's no reason.
crazy.
It's just a
That's
standard.
crazy.
You shouldn't ask for it. You're probably not going to get it. Only big people get, and it just means you're getting 75% of what you should get.
Right.
There's
That's
no reason
crazy.
for it.
It's like
It's just it's language in the
Where does the other
contract
25% go?
to them.
To
It's
them?
like, but the thing that's messed up is they already making all the money.
Yeah.
They're already giving you chump change off of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
My God.
This is just greed.
And out of
Everything
that
outside
chump
of that is
change,
greed.
we're only giving them this. But that's a little too much still. Let's make up this thing called the 3/4 rate.
Oh my God.
It's
That's
so,
greedy.
so-
That's how they just handcuff
Yeah,
the
and a lot
artists
of-
and everybody involved.
Yeah, and it's really very rare if you look at longevity. If you look at like a lot of people front, you know what I mean. Like I'm not fronting. Like I have a job.
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Right.
Like I had to. Like I love my family. Like
respect
I'm not
that,
gonna.
bro.
I'm not gonna put my.
I know you'd love to be just in the basement,
Would
still
I?
making
Yeah.
beats all day.
Man, I
Flipping
was on
them.
the floor in the General Assembly of the United Nations fixing broken listening stations this morning at 7:00.
Well, dang.
Do you think I'd rather be doing that
Right.
or making tracks and working on music
In the
and,
studio.
and being like, yo, this sounds dope, right? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's send it off to let's get so and so to sing the hook. That's what I love. It's my
Being on
passion.
your way home at 7 in
Yeah.
the morning from a studio
Yeah,
session.
nothing
all night,
better.
like-
Nothing better. Going to
That's the
have
best.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nothing
That's
better
right.
than that to me, but I got responsibilities.
Of course.
But some people still, with that, because they want to keep an image, they'll have the job, and then you go on Instagram, it doesn't look
Yeah.
like they do have a job. They
Right.
just
Yeah.
Right.
this and that, and I mean, I don't think people do it on purpose, maybe, because you're not gonna take pictures of stuff you don't like, right?
That's
Exactly.
true. They say Instagram is your highlight reel.
Sure
Yeah.
he is.
So
One last question, brother. Was there any artists that you wanted to work with that you didn't get a chance to work with yet?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to work with Jay-Z.
see,
I wanted to work with Jay. I mean, I got to work
was
with.
he close to making
That was
something
around
happen?
when all that stuff,
Yeah,
like,
like- shit.
the Rockefeller.
and the only one that was
Rockefeller.
getting to him at that time a lot was, and still, of course, Swiss
Weren't they
Yeah.
on tour?
Swiss
all
went to be
together,
a giant, like he's,
Yeah.
he's tremendous in the game right now.
Yeah, he is.
So it's like,
though? He had an album coming out.
yeah, he's got something coming right now,
Yeah.
and he's like, on another level, and like I would have liked to have worked with him, and but I did work with. I mean, the list is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, I know. You got.
I mean,
you got some heavy hitters.
and
on your
I mean,
resume.
I got to work with like Big Pun.
Yes. Oh,
Rest in peace. And,
Yes.
and,
Rest
I
in
mean,
peace, Big
that's
Pun.
major, bro.
and he was talented, man. Like he was
He
so
was a
dope.
problem, bro.
He was so dope.
Yeah.
Was there anyone that you
Another
did not
one.
like working with?
Break the silence, bro.
You guys are messy.
I don't know. That's cool. Who did not like?
Messy.
Nobody was like terrible or anything like that to that point. No, I mean, you know what it
take
is.
75
was
takes and stuff like
diva-ish.
that. Y'all nail the beat, bro.
No, you know, I mean, I could tell you my favorites.
Word.
Like
Top,
Eve was
yeah.
absolute favorite.
Eve, yeah.
Top.
Wow.
Amazing person.
Shout out to
her.
Eve, man.
Sweet, nice,
Problem.
great, good
Isn't
person.
she like in a
Beast.
foreign country now? Right? Didn't she like move to?
I don't know where she's at.
I think.
No,
I think she
she's
got
been-
married.
She was on The View for
And she-
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
She still is on The View, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that she is.
She's on some show right now.
The View is like Whoopi Goldberg.
No, I know.
and
Yeah,
some other
okay.
people
No,
now.
but she is on the show right now.
don't
I was
think
watching
so. I
recently.
thought that she had
Yeah,
moved to a
I know
different
she's on a
country.
show.
No, she is.
I'm
Because she
gonna
had
look
like
it
long. Look it up.
We gonna find her.
She wanted to get out of
That's
that,
amazing.
that
Pam's the,
business. Continue the list.
Go ahead.
Oh, and she's I would say my favorite. And then, I mean, after that, I mean, X is just like, he's crazy a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
The energy, though, right?
energy.
But just like,
It's like you're a little
It's
bit
just so
scared,
dope.
but you like, oh yeah, this is
yeah,
lit.
like
X is like cash
one-
walking
let's
times
put it
10.
this way. Like, you see how I am. Like, I'm on the like I'm this little studio nerd. And like, he's like, yo, Shok, come on, let's go for a ride. Once. I never did that again.
Oh wow.
One time, yo, the way he was driving,
Oh my
and he was,
God.
he embraces everything. So like, you're driving, and like people on the bus are like, yo, he's like, yeah, and he's like speeding and taking lights, and then we went to the mall, and he's, you know, like, it's this like whole experience where I'm like, this is kind of good. I'm experiencing it.
Yeah, but I'll never want to
It's
do this
one of
again.
those things, like, you ever get on like a real crazy ride,
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool.
Right.
Like, you
But
go
you're
and
like-
your heart was like, oh my God, but you're
Yeah.
like, they're like, yo, you get on again?
Nah, it's straight.
Nah.
Yo, man.
I got one more.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead,
Pam,
go
you got
ahead,
one too?
No, go. I was gonna talk about Eve.
Is she yes or no?
Is
She
she on a
lives
show?
in London. She's not on a show. She's married and
she
she's
was on a show though.
she's in
Yeah.
London. She's between London and LA. But I knew she had moved.
From Philly
she
to
had
London.
moved.
Oh, yeah, I know
she's
she's
married.
See, sick
She
of
has
America.
4
Just
kids.
sick of it.
She got married and said bye.
Yeah.
Sick of America. Can't take y'all.
So, what type of advice could you give to other people that may be pursuing the same, you know, producing or
All the
trying
advice he just gave.
to
That's
get
e-
into the game?
That's
Like, what are some pointers?
He just gave it.
Super easy. Like, the only thing I could tell you that I noticed in every single person that succeeded, it's only one thing. They just kept on.
Keep
That's
going.
it. It's simple. It's like nobody that I know. I have known people that's way more talented,
Right.
all kinds. The only factor is that the people who keep working, keep trying, keep hitting it, because sometimes you just get you got to be prepared for that moment,
Right.
and sometimes you just get lucky.
Take
you know,
your chance,
you don't know.
too. Take your chances when they come.
You put your work like in a lot of different hands, and you just never know. Sometimes you get surprised. Sometimes it's, you know, nothing happens for a long time, and then that one thing happens.
Just
You
takes
just
one
have
day.
to keep on and keep on,
Word.
and how I did it was, my dad gave me advice once, and I was gonna give up. He was like, "All right, what else are you gonna do?" And that hit me. I was like, "Damn!"
Damn.
Right.
I said,
Like,
damn.
Like, he hit me. He knew that was gonna slap me in the
else am I
face.
doing?
I was like, I don't really like doing anything else.
Yeah.
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 I was like, all right, I guess I'll keep doing this. Thanks.
Thanks.
I went right
Appreciate
back downstairs and just kept working. You know.
it. Yeah,
Good
man.
talk.
Nice.
Good talk.
Nice.
Wow.
That's
Well,
dope.
thank you for coming, bro.
Thank
really
you, bro.
appreciate
Alright.
you dropping
Thank you.
gems,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Great stories,
Teaching us
great
about the
insight.
Thank you,
game.
man.
The game is
Everything.
real, yo.
Yo.
But we gotta keep going.
It's real grimy, man.
It's just-
It's grimy,
It
yo.
is.
Wow.
You gotta have your guard up like 100% in music, yo.
Give us your
Crazy.
social medias, your website. I know you just started the new
Yeah.
website.
Launched
Tell
it.
us about all that.
Website is shockbeats.com.
Word.
And it's you know, I got beats up. I'm actually gonna try and put up a beat a day
Nice.
for a really long time.
Wow.
Like,
I
I'm
like
not
that.
even gonna say, because I honestly have a ton. So I'm just gonna try and, as much as I can, just every single day put one up and do that. And, you know, my social media is DJ Shok Beats. That's on Instagram, and then I think Facebook is
DJ Shok.
DJ Shok.
Yes.
Yep.
Word.
You know, I meant
respect
to
that,
ask about your connection with Datton. Is his name Datton?
Oh, Dayton.
Dayton.
Yeah, that's my man.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I noticed on some of the posts.
Dayton.
He's
Me and him,
used
man.
some of your music,
I love.
your,
Yeah,
beats and stuff.
I used to, like, on his, not last one, the one before that. I mean, just I gave him music.
Wow.
Just because of the message he's bringing and everything. Like, I didn't even charge him. Like, I just donated, sold into his ministry, and I love
really
dating.
cool.
I love dating, and
dope.
I did that for a lot of like gospel rappers and stuff like that. When I wasn't really doing music,
Right.
they would reach out to me, and I just give them music.
Nice.
You know, and I wouldn't even ask them for money.
Wow. That's dope.
That's what's
really
up,
cool.
man. That's straight. Once again, it's the We Break Silence show. E.CHARLEZ, PAMELA, ROSARIO, Cash, WALKEN, VANIA. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at New Villa Radio.
Yes.
Twitter's different at We Break Silence _. You guys have any final announcements?
Y'all already know where to find me, man. At Cash Walking. It's always my announcement. Holler at me.
Pam, you got your new website up?
Oh yeah, talk about that. Say it more clearly this time.
Yes, my new website has finally launched after a few months of battling, but we got it. It went up yesterday, so check it out, PamelaRosario.com.
Thank you.
Is that clear enough for you?
Yeah, you didn't sound so
Two
Dominican this
websites
time.
you gotta check out.
Is your website Dominican?
She sounded
It is Dominican. A Latin flavor.
Vana, you suspended for next episode. Next week's episode. You suspended without pay.
I'll be here on time next week for y'all. I apologize for missing the breakthrough mix.
We're back at 8 o'clock. Some confusion because we start. Cash had a football team.
Cash was walking.
Yes.
And Pam was a cheerleader mom for the last couple weeks, so we started at 8:30.
Nice mom joke,
Thank
Sam.
you. I worked really hard for that one.
So we transitioned to 8 today, but only half of us got the memo. But whatever.
It's all right. I was driving. I don't be looking at my phone when I'm driving.
Yeah, right.
Shock Beats, thank you, brother.
Next time, bring me coffee when
Thank
you
you for
late.
coming.
All right, we'll see you
Thank
guys.
you, Shock. Appreciate it,
same
bro.
time,
Thank
same
you.
place next week.
Yes,
8
sir.
o'clock.
We breaking silence on the Ludo.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, guys.
Peace.
This is New Villa Entertainment.